Big night in the NBA tonight. We've got the draft lottery, some playoff games on as well. We're going to take a look at the top storylines. And again, everybody holding their breath and waiting for those ping pong balls right now. I'm Trevor Lane, joined by Donnie Freeman. Make sure you hit the subscribe button right here on the Basketball Bulletin. We appreciate all the support we've gotten on this ever-growing channel. And a great way to help the channel, let this video run all the way until the end. Always a great thing. Helps us out with our metrics and all of that. So we would appreciate that as well. Donnie, happy Flag Day. Nothing.
I have been smiling and just nodding for like a solid 30 seconds, but I had to keep it going. Anyway, yes, happy Flag Day. Who do you think is going to get the number one pick tonight?
Well, let's take a look at the odds here right now. The number one pick, the best, even the teams, the tankiest of tanking teams, the Utah Jazz, they only have a 14% shot at getting Cooper Flag in the draft lottery, and that's these flattened lottery odds that we're seeing now. So there's a chance that, look, somebody could move up. Toronto could move up and get the number one pick. It could be Brooklyn. It could be Philly. It could be Northern, right? Any of these teams could move up and get the pick, and they all have, you look, Philly at 5 has almost an 11% chance. That's not that far off from a 14% chance at getting number one. So the new draft lottery odds that we saw come in a few years ago definitely created an era of randomness and unpredictability to the draft lottery. So I think we're in for an exciting night tonight.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Philly, could you imagine if they walk away with the number one pick after the masterful tank job they put? I don't know that I've ever seen a team tank that effectively for the last like 20 or 30 games of the season. And it wasn't even very hard for them to do either. Like they just stopped playing their guys.
Yeah, stop playing. Like not since Sam Hinkie and his 76ers.
Exactly,
right?
but like they basically didn't win it like more than like a couple games for the last stretch of the season. It was kind of crazy. So that being said, they've got a pretty decent chance with 10% overall. But really what it is why is Dallas going to be the team to get the number one overall pick tonight?
Because of the conspiracy, because it was part of the Luka trade. The Mavericks are getting the number one overall pick because they were guaranteed of that selection when the league pushed them to trade Luka to the Lakers. That is the story that I'm running with.
It's too obvious, man. If they get number one, I'm calling it. It's too obvious.
It's too obvious.
You just can't do it.
It's gonna happen. You know it. It's gonna happen. All right. By the way, Philly, they have a real chance at losing their pick. They have just about a 64% chance of keeping their pick. Anything else and they lose. So you could see 7, 8, or 9, and they get no draft picks. So this miserable, no good, horrible season in Philly will have no silver lining, no benefit, no draft pick coming to them. It would go instead to the Oklahoma City Thunder. I don't think anybody wants to see that aside from Thunder fans. So Philly has a 64% chance to keep their pick. The other picks that are potentially in play here, Sacramento almost certainly going to lose their pick, but if it happens to land in the top 4, Sacramento would keep their pick. Now, again, not a high probability of that happening, just under 4% chance, but Sacramento loses their pick, goes to Atlanta Hawks. The Hawks pick, no matter what, goes to the San Antonio Spurs. The Suns pick, no matter what, goes to the Houston Rockets. So that's what's on the line. The big thing that we're all keeping an eye on, it's does anyone jump up? Because if the draft order is going tonight and we get, let's say they go Atlanta, Sacramento, Chicago, Portland, then oh my God, Dallas jumped, right? And that's where Philly's going to start sweating. Next thing you know, you go, San Antonio at 8, they're not there anymore. Then Philly's really worried, right? 2 jumping up could, not definitely, but could knock Philly out. So Philly's going to be keeping a close eye. And if you're the 76ers, you want to see everything stay chalk. You don't want to see anybody jump if you're looking to try to keep that pick, which is what the 76ers actually absolutely are. So, man, they are going to be holding their breath through that draft lottery. Sixers fans are.
That's just, honestly, if they don't get their pick, it's quite literally unlucky because they should get to keep their pick. But, that being said, I kind of don't want them to get it. You know why? Because, you can't get rewarded for the tank job, right? To be fair, all the
you want the pick to go to OKC?
No. Okay, well, I guess to be fair, we'll pick the lesser of two evils, right?
Okay,
we'll pick the lesser, which is Philly. So never mind. I'm sorry. You guys I forgot OKC has that pick despite you just mentioning it. Because I was too busy looking at. Yeah, I was too busy looking at Phoenix's situation, how they're just kind of right there at 9, but they don't get that pick, do they?
No, so that's the thing with Phoenix too. Is Phoenix's pick goes to Houston? That has a almost 4% chance of being number one. That has a 17% chance at being a top 4 pick. And by the
Top
way, look,
4 pick.
we've talked a lot about Giannis today, a lot Giannis trade rumors and all that kind of stuff. That's the other thing around this draft lottery is this could completely change the Giannis trade market if Houston jumps up via that Phoenix pick and gets in the top 4. Hell, if they get number 1, oh boy, that could change their offer for Giannis completely. If Dallas gets number 1, if I'm Dallas, I'm making that offer. They're trying to win right now. If I'm Dallas, I'm going and talking Giannis, right? San Antonio, well, they probably just keep it. But my God, if the Spurs jump up again, I might just lose my mind, Donnie. I might lose my mind.
That may be worse than if Dallas gets number 1 overall, because there's no way every time they have a down year, they get a high pick and it somehow turns into the top pick.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. On the Phoenix thing, man, 4% chance to be number 1, obviously very unlikely. But if by chance that ends up there, or even like a top 3 pick,
yeah,
you're just looking at that like, man, that feels bad for Phoenix. Like, because they've got your future shorted. Your future is uncertain with the roster this season. Obviously, KD wants out at this point. What are you going to do? And to make things worse, you're giving away a top lottery pick. That's ridiculous.
Yep. And it's not even like there's a % chance they can keep it. It's gone.
No, it's just gone.
It's gone.
That's why when teams tank, they didn't try to tank. They just weren't good.
They were just
But
bad.
when teams tank, they want their picks back. And that's why. Because if you have a season that's bad, you obviously have the ping pong balls bouncing your way in your favor. You can get that and reap the benefits of it. And they're not in that position.
Well, that's why, we talked about this earlier today, but we have to keep an eye on the New Orleans Pelicans in the Giannis Antetokounmpo trade conversations, because they do have future Milwaukee picks. So could they get involved either as a landing spot for Giannis, which I think is fairly unlikely, or as a team that gets involved as a third team or something, and so that Milwaukee can get their own picks back? That's going to be something we keep an eye on, because again, we saw the Brooklyn Nets do it last year. They went and got their own picks back before they really started tanking. They got those back. It's how Houston has Phoenix picks. They got those from the Nets in exchange for the Nets getting their own picks back. By the way, the Brooklyn Nets currently sitting in the 6th seed, rumored to be a team that will be all in going after Giannis if they move up. I don't know what they can build out around Giannis. They don't really have the infrastructure set to bring in Giannis and win immediately. But if they jump up, and even if they don't, if they end up 6th, they may be willing to put that pick on the table for Giannis Antetokounmpo. So that's something to keep an eye on as well.
I think for Brooklyn and for a number of these teams, obviously Charlotte, Utah, Washington, I think you should just keep the pick. Like, I know Brooklyn wants a star, but I think you should just develop Coop and build around him, take your time with it for a lot of these teams, and that's where Brooklyn falls to me. I don't think they should rush this, but Brooklyn's done a really good job over the last handful of years of just retooling their roster, getting new guys in there, and finding ways to be competitive in the seasons where they were. But I still think they should just try to build around their future and just try to go from there with Cooper.
All right, so what would be the worst possible number 1? Who would be the worst team to move up and get the number 1 pick?
As in, like, you don't want to see it happen?
Yeah. What would be the one thing that would make fans go, oh, come on, seriously?
I actually do. Like you said, they keep it. And I think there's an argument for that. But I do wonder if San Antonio trades it off. If they were the ones.
If they could get Giannis.
Yeah, because the thing is that while their timeline is, another decade, right? Wemby is ready to win now. That's the problem, is that, like, when you've got a star young player that's already ready, I don't think it's fair to keep putting more young guys around him that need development, that need more time. And that's fine if you have those guys as part of your system overall. But I think when your star young player is ready to go, you need to put pieces to win now. And I think they're in that position. Like, their timeline is a decade, but it's also expedited because he's ready now. He's going to go into next season, assuming everything health, all that stuff. He's going to go into next season as like a top 5 player. So, like, what do you do with that? So if you can get Giannis and put him next to him, De'Aaron Fox, you fill in the rest around that. I mean, damn. Like, so
that's pretty good.
I don't know if they should keep it, because I know that Cooper long term, obviously, get a longer runway with him than you do with Giannis, presumably anyway. But I think that would be probably the scariest outcome.
So that's definitely the scariest outcome. I think the worst outcome, for me, it's New Orleans. Like, they've done nothing with Zion for years now. Zion's been
I don't
injured
want
and all
him to
that.
go there.
And on one hand, it would let New Orleans really turn the page, I think, from Zion and move on if they want to and move forward. And I get all that. But I would worry about what is the future like in New Orleans.
Yeah.
Are they capable of building a team around a contender? Is Joe Dumars, again, obviously new decision maker there, but is Joe Dumars capable of building a team around a player or not? And because that question is still out there, maybe that would be a rough outcome. This Charlotte, I suppose, and Washington, frankly, probably have
really
similar concerns, though.
Yeah. You were saying that, and I was thinking about those teams too. Like, I said I didn't want him to go to New Orleans. It was solely because, I mean, I didn't think they've really done anything over the last handful of years. Honestly, it's been pretty underwhelming. Some of that's just Zion's lack of availability, right?
That's a big part of it.
Put that there. Like, that matters a lot, right? So maybe he would go there, Coop, and be fine in New Orleans. They'd put it together. But I have questions about several of these teams' ability to put a team around a young player and the timeline. I especially have questions about Charlotte because they've just never really been able to get right. So
yeah, Charlotte, Washington tanked in a big way this last year too. They were awful. Utah's got the number one pick right now. They've got the best odds anyway of being in the top 4, because even if teams jump, that knocks them down, the least amount, because they have the worst record. Utah's another one where very clearly they want to tank, and maybe getting Cooper Flag would change things for them. But I'm going to tell you, I know this, the funniest outcome, no question, would be Dallas jumping up and getting number 1. Dallas jumping up and getting number 1 would be absolutely hilarious. Just because it would be immediate conspiracy theories and everybody would know what happened there.
Yeah, that would be really funny. A couple of dark horses, and we only talk really about the first overall pick, but I think like the first 4 or 5 of this draft is really good.
Sure.
So there's that too, of course, but obviously with Cooper being the main, and I think Cooper really separated himself in a big way as the number 1 overall pick. There were some questions going into the season if that was going to be the case. I think he did. That being said, for Coop, I think it would be really interesting if he landed in Atlanta or Toronto. I think those would be interesting spots.
Toronto would be interesting. Yeah. Atlanta could be a good one too. A lot of wings there already, but could certainly land there. Let's, basically Dylan Harper and Cooper Flag. Cooper Flag expected to go number 1. Dylan Harper expected to go number 2, but still, this is going to be a really interesting draft with, I think, a decent amount of talent in it. But again, the big prize, it's Cooper Flag, and we'll see what happens there. Donnie, why don't we take a spin here and let's see what happens?
Oh boy.
All right. Let's see, what does fate bring?
Who's getting Ace
there
Bailey?
it is. Toronto.
Oh wow, we just talked about it.
Toronto jumping up. Man.
Okay, what else happened here? Philly.
So we also saw Utah drop down to the 4th pick. They moved back 3 spots. Charlotte wound up moving up a spot to number 2. New Orleans moved up a spot to number 3. Philly moved down just 1, though, just barely. Philly hangs on to their pick.
Yeah.
Donnie, I feel like there's a little bit of poetic justice in that, because Philly had such a bad season, but then the way they tanked at the end, moving back one spot but not losing your pick completely, that just feels right to me for Philly.
I mean, it would feel right if they lost it too, kind of, but I also, my bias is God damn it, don't give OKC anything else. But
there's too many guys in the West as it is.
Yeah, but at the same time, that's why I was I just feel it feels dirty rewarding Philly just because of the way things. And again, they've dealt with injuries too. It's not like they solely tanked, but they dealt with injuries. But yeah, I don't know. Toronto getting number 1 is funny because we just talked about that, but that's basically the floor for Utah right there, right? They can't.
No, they can move down one more.
They can go a little. Okay, one more. I was that's nearly the floor. That's about worst case scenario.
That's about worst case scenario for the
run it one more time. I want to see who gets it.
All right, let's do it. Philly moves up to 2. Charlotte gets number 1.
Holy crap,
and look at this time, we really did Utah dirty. They moved all the way back to 5. They got jumped by 4 teams, but look at the number 4 spot.
San Antonio.
The damn Spurs moved up. I think that's the team I least want to see move up is San Antonio.
Yeah. If they get anything other than number one, which is unlikely, I think that pick's on the table. There's some really good prospects, like we were just talking about. You mentioned a couple. I like Fears, I like Bailey, I like Edgecombe, obviously Harper. There's some guys, but I think with them, I think they got to move that. They don't have to, but I think they probably should explore it if they're able to even get Giannis.
Yeah.
How much do you lead or believe the income tax stuff with Giannis? Like how much he really wants to go to like Texas
or Florida. I mean, I don't know. Like it's something. I think it does matter to a degree for these, especially if you're making the kind of money these guys are. Like that can make a difference. But states also don't just like give back money. Like you're going to pay it in your property taxes. You're going to pay it in other ways too. So, and I'm sure there's ways around it. I'm not a financial guru by any stretch of the imagination. So I'm sure they've got ways that they go, well, we're not going to actually buy a home there. We're going to rent. We're going to buy elsewhere and all that. Like there's ways around it. But in any event, I do think that there's probably something to that. I think the bigger thing is where can he win? And the rumor is he wants to go someplace where there's another star already in place that can do some of the heavy lifting. San Antonio makes sense in that regard. We'll see what that ultimately looks like.
Lakers.
They don't have the pieces to get him.
What are you talking about? They got Austin Reeves. They got a Dalton Connect, a pick swap, and a box of erasers. I think that works.
A box of erasers? That's about right. But I mean, like 29 teams will make the call on Giannis. 29 teams will. Not all of them actually have a shot, but you have to make the call. You have to make the call and just see what the conversation is.
Like 29 teams will make the call on Coop, whoever gets him.
For sure. And that's I really think there's not many teams that would trade Cooper Flag if they get him. Oh, there we go. OKC moved and got the 7th pick here because of Philly. Philly moved back to 7. Spin, Portland gets number 1, moved up. They had a 3.7% chance, and they move all the way up and get the number 1 pick.
I don't really mind that. I think Portland could benefit, of course, and I think they deserve that.
All right, let's do last one.
Oh, here comes Dallas. God,
this is the real one.
Oh, they didn't do it. Oh, it's Washington. That's an expected outcome.
Yeah, watch it, but I do not like this one. I do not like this one at all because San Antonio moves up to 3 and Philly loses their pick. I don't know. We can't do that. We can't end on that. Hit it again.
Phoenix. New Orleans this time again.
Okay. New Orleans gets it.
That Phoenix pick is like always sitting at 8, 9, 10. It doesn't move higher than that.
Yeah, maybe the system is biased against the Rockets.
Like, see, it's at 10 again. It doesn't move.
Can we get Houston a top pick?
It doesn't move. It stays.
I mean, the odds are at some point it would happen.
Look, it's staying 9, 10.
It's got a 20. Like it should be almost a 1 in 5 to move up.
This thing does not like Phoenix and Houston. See, look, it's always 9, 10. Maybe it did it earlier and I didn't notice.
What is good? It's still sitting there. No, it moved back. I was like, oh, it moved. No, it moved back. Is this a flaw in Tankathon?
It's broken.
There it is.
Oh, there it is. God.
There it is. We finally saw the logo hit the corner of the center of the screen in the office.
Were they really that unlucky? That's insane.
I guess it took all that to get them to move up to 3. But there it is.
So we know it's not happening.
But we don't like this world, though, because San Antonio gets number 1.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I wonder what other weird number 1s we got in that just quick shuffle that we were doing.
Probably a bunch of random ones. All right, everybody. But let us know your thoughts. What outcome do you want to see in the draft lottery tonight? Obviously, a ton of storylines going on around it. The Giannis trade talks are going to be in the thick of things, of course, but a lot more at stake here. Of course, a lot on the line for the 76ers. We've got to put the potential of the Houston Rockets moving up, all kinds of things to look at. So give us your thoughts in the comment section down below. Don't forget to subscribe right here to the channel. Till next time, everybody. See ya and stay safe.